might be everything MRI.
Talk about education. I want to talk about everything.
There are not too many people that are doing this, but we need more.
And that's when I got the incident with the pacemaker. Everyone goes, no. What about safety? And we managed to scan someone remotely. Some of us love claustrophobic patients because they can interact with them. And I believe VR is a very immersive kind of learning tool with people from USA, from Australia, India.
So I was extremely lucky because there were no jobs at all. Can we cut it this far?
It is true.
Maintaining the same image quality. Bandwidth, turbo factor, SNR. Did we say that is for free, yeah? So there you go, Samuel. How did we come with this thing of everything MRI? I mean, I think people at some point started to see this name on LinkedIn, YouTube, and they will wonder, what the hell might be everything MRI? And then you came to me, actually, you didn't come to me. I realized I was wondering myself, what it might be everything MRI. So actually, I approached you and you explained me what was your original idea. So, well, if you can tell me more, I mean, I'm part of the project, but I'm always interested to know it a little bit more.
We changed a lot since the first time we spoke about this. The first idea that I had for everything MRI was very different than one we have now. But I think for me, it all started in 2015, where I had an incident in one of the mobile scanners that we used to have. And a student took a pacemaker patient into the room, and for me it was a scary situation. I was brand new on the MRI world as well. So the year after I went to a Canal course, and we spoke about MRI safety, and that sparkled something in me. And a few years after, I saw a podcast about MRI as well. And this podcast had a guy that was doing some kind of work. His name is Nathan. He's an amazing guy. And I thought, I want to do this kind of company. So I started having meetings with people trying to figure out what we can do. And every single meeting that I had, the word everything was coming. I want to do everything. I want to talk about patient positioning. I want to talk about, safety. I want to talk about education. I want to talk about everything. So it kept coming, the word everything. And then I decided, okay, why not everything MRI? I went through different names, and that was the one that worked the better. And that's how I created. So that's how it was. And then I started creating the company on LinkedIn as well.
Obviously, there is that word as well, which is something that is pretty common in our life, MRI. And I don't know for you, but personally for me, I mean, I started this journey now 9 years ago, and every day is a new challenge. Every day there is something new. So to be honest, I can see why everything MRI, because there are so many things that might be linked to MRI. Yeah. It's not just MRI safety. There are a lot of things. And I mean, probably now people from other modalities like CT, X-ray, they're gonna hate me, but I have to say that MRI is what, in my opinion, it attracts the most attention. Each modality can be fascinated in their own way, but I think MRI might have the kind of thing that you would say, wow, I want definitely to know more. What do you think about it?
To be honest with you, I also thought, a while ago, I think 2 or 3 weeks, I was thinking, why not doing everything CT, everything X-ray, so we can actually have more within our company. But I'm an MRI rad. I love MRI and everything MRI, and I don't see myself doing the other things. But I was extremely happy back then when you approached me about your YouTube channel, because that was the thing that I was missing, that educational side of it. And I saw your videos and I really loved it the way you were doing, and for me it was like, yeah, this is the perfect fit. Let's get Julian in and let's build it together. But for me, it was like, I'm afraid of being on the camera, as you already know. We spoke about that today already. And it fascinates me how you do it. So can you go through that? How you basically sit there and go through
my God. You really want me to do? Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, as you said, I think the two side projects started to be combined later on, but it came come like very natural, this process. And I think that as far as my side is concerned, so the YouTube channel, that at the time I think the initial name was MRI for everyone,
yeah,
which was like, when I saw everything MRI, I was like, oh my God, probably we're kind of like sharing like a similar name. The whole idea was, I mean, I don't want to hide behind this. I mean, I started to see like other people doing something similar, like Bach, to be honest, was kind of like a source of inspiration about this. And I found it extremely useful. And I told myself, my God, there are not too many people that are doing this, but we need more. We actually need more, like people showing how to kind of like change a specific parameter to show what might be the outcome. More technical thing. Yeah. And also like discussing a little bit more something that might be considered nowadays a little bit more advanced, like cardiac MRI. And that was actually my first video where I started. I
think it's one of the videos on the channel.
It is indeed. I think we started with the differences between 1.5 and 3 Tesla cardiac MRI. And then we moved to the planning, and then we started to gradually doing something slightly different. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to stop here, to be honest. So I found, like, in the sense, everything MRI, like the kind of idea behind that combined with what could be my channel in the future. That would be probably amazing in the view of revolutionizing the entire.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, as you said, I think both projects were complementing each other, and that's why it's working so well between us. And back then, I remember looking on the internet and seeing Bach, and I thought, is there anyone else? And then I saw you, and it was you and Bach, and I couldn't find anyone else at all. And back then, I had those conversations with Bach as well, and he was working somewhere else. He didn't want to join anyone. And when you approached me, for me, it was like, jackpot. You know, this guy knows what he's doing, and I think it works.
Well, to be fair, I mean, you can still ask my girlfriend the time that I try and practice to do a video. Sometimes I sacrifice the whole weekend. I was like, take one. Oh, no. Bloody hell. No, that was crap. And then, try again. Yeah, so it takes a lot of time, to be honest. And the thing that I want to make very clear, I don't have the entire knowledge. Most of the thing, literally, I learn it when I do the video.
When you do it, yeah. But so, I think it's a good practice.
Yeah, it's a good practice.
Teach students, and I used to learn while teaching them. That's when I was learning more of it as well, because you get that feedback from them, and I think we're getting a lot of feedback on YouTube as well from other people saying, "Oh, can you speak about this sequence as well, or this kind of saturation?" And I think that's awesome, because you go back and say, "Oh, actually, we could also do a video on that." So I think it's a good thing for us as well to grow as radiographers and to grow 100%. As a company.
I totally agree. There will be new videos, but I know also there will be quite few interesting things happening on the other side, meaning like, I mean, I don't know what you want to discuss, but I think the audience might be interested to know what is coming in the near future.
And we have a lot of things coming up, and we're going to be releasing those news gradually through the next weeks and months. But I think we have a big announcement to come within the next 2 weeks. I'm sure that a lot of people are expecting some big news from us. We did a post just 2 days ago or yesterday where I said something is coming, and just that post on LinkedIn got around 4K impressions straight away, because there's traction. People want to see what we're doing, and we have a lot of good feedback.
Can we actually say a little bit more, just absolutely. A tiny bit, not exposing too much?
Yeah, absolutely. We're building what I believe, honestly, to be the best and the biggest MRI course. Not course, but event. We're doing a massive event.
Let's say like a conference, right?
Yes, it is a conference, but it's slightly different, because most of the conferences we go either presential, and you have a hybrid kind of situation. For us, the main thing is going to be fully online. It's going to be live. And the most important thing, I believe, it's going to be completely free.
Yeah.
So I think that's the best point, because for me, and I believe for you as well, that's why you joined us, is I believe everything MRI is about community to community. So we want to give back, and we want to give it for free. So this kind of education that we're doing on YouTube,
honestly, that was the purpose of the channel, like giving something back completely for free. I know there are a lot of universities, courses that require like a certain fee to be paid in advance. Probably there will be the time that we will kind of like connect to this kind of system as well. But I would say at least for now, I mean, we need to give something back. The community is really asking for this.
We need it as well.
Yeah, we need it as well. We need it in the very first place, knowing
Absolutely.
more about it.
The fact that I had the idea for the event comes from that same idea, because for me we wanted to go to a canal course, right? And we are 5 people working in the same department. I don't want to self-fund myself because I don't have that kind of money to go to a canal course, then go to Tobias, then go to Sherlock in the same year. And then the employer is not going to sponsor 5 people because, first of all, it's extremely expensive. And second, we're going through a shortage of staff worldwide, and they can't release 5 members of staff and then close the department. So for me, I pick it up there that there's a need for us to provide something that everyone can attend either live or through recording. So what we're doing is fully live, and then we have a recording that everyone can access on demand. It's going to be on our channel, on your YouTube channel as well. So we can all go there and watch it back.
Yep.
And it's completely free for everyone. We will give more details on our LinkedIn pages and website.
Yeah.
But we have
there will
big
be
names.
It's
the
quite
big
major
names,
experts in the field.
Absolutely.
And in terms of topic, will be ranging from MR safety, but it will be mainly a general conversation
MRI
about
basics,
MRI.
MRI safety, remote scanning, which everyone is talking about. We're going to put a little bit of low fields. We're talking about risk assessments. We talk about a little bit like everything MRI basically.
And again, everything completely for free. I mean, I think we need to kind of like underline this.
Yeah, the event is absolutely free attendance. And the good thing about it, it's not just that it's free. We have endorsements from BAMR, BIR, and SOR. So it's a CPD now kind of event.
Oh, fantastic.
Which is awesome. So you basically might be at work and you can be watching it.
Yeah.
And you'll get your certificate
so
anyways.
Your employer will be happy.
Absolutely, yeah.
You can bring your certificate over there, you see?
Yeah.
Even this year,
it's good
the
to
job
have
is done.
Absolutely. And another good thing about this event is with the speakers that we managed to get, they are massive ones within the MRI community. We went through an agreement to have this every year. So there will be everything MRI events every year for free for CPD certificates. So people just need to register, attend, grab their CPD certificate, and that's it. And absolutely for free. Yeah.
I wouldn't ask for more, to be honest. But I think, to be honest, it would be nice also because, I mean, now we kind of like share what we are going to do in the near future, but how actually we started. So how was our journey? I mean, who are you?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Who are you? Why did you become like an MRI radiographer specifically? And I can share my experience, but to be honest, I think we can tell this to the audience. We know each other, but we don't know so well to say like.
We don't know that much.
Yeah, so this will be a nice opportunity for me to know you a little bit better because I know you have a very strong passion in MRI.
Yeah.
Same as I do, but I don't know what has been your path that lead you like at some point.
I got here.
Yeah, you got here. Okay.
So you need to read that.
It's all inside there.
It's all here. So basically, I wrote this book. So it's The Magnetic Killer. Yeah. And it's based in a lot of true stories about myself. It's kind of biographical situation. But of course, it's a murder thriller book.
Oh, there you go. Oh my God, I got scared for 1 second. Okay.
So it all started back in university. So I was doing support to theaters on surgery, hip surgeries, and I met this lady. Her name is Annabella, which I really like her. She helped me a lot, and she tried to make me follow my dreams. And back then was forensics. So I'm also a forensic radiographer.
No way.
And
I always wonder how does it work, forensic radiography?
It's awesome. I don't do much in that area, unfortunately. But back then, she helped me to actually do autopsies. So I was doing autopsies back then.
So you were doing like MRIs or like?
No, actually autopsies. I was actually with the body dissecting the organs.
Directly on that field.
Yes. So that's what I was doing during uni years. And then I moved to London because in Portugal there was this massive financial crisis. I couldn't get any jobs. So I moved to London and directly to MRI. It was my first job ever to do MRI scans. And that's when I got the incident with a pacemaker with a student. So I was training students already when I was on my second year working as a radiographer in my whole life. And that, I think, ignited this passion for me for MRI and physics and safety. And then I met, I think, one of the most important people in my life professionally, which is Canal.
Yeah.
So I met many in
Dr.
Las
Emmanuel
Vegas.
Canal,
Yeah,
yeah.
Dr. Emmanuel Canal. I met him in Las Vegas. I did this course and I was blown away. Not only because of the intricacies of MRI, but the way he captivated 300 people during 4 days, 12 hours a day. And the way he was speaking about it was so passionate that he managed to make that spark in me come as well.
Yeah.
And since then, we've been talking about projects, and we talk once in a while about what I'm doing. And that's how it all started mainly, because I got that passion. I moved jobs and I created an e-learning, MRI safety learning from my group, where I work my 9-to-5 job. And
you at the
stuff.
moment you are like kind of like MRI superintendent.
Yes,
lead
so I'm the
MRI
lead
radio.
MRI superintendent in my group, and I work for corporate.
Which is something I think we need also to clarify, because I mean it can pretty be variable in different countries. Some of them, they don't have the specific professional profile. I think here I would say in the UK, I think it's like the radiographer can have quite a lot of opportunities. But actually, I just want to take over because I just noticed we have a very similar path. They brought us actually here in London, because for me it was kind
How
of.
long are you here now?
I've been here for almost 3 years, I think. Yeah, 3 years.
Three.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm still fairly new. I think.
I thought you were here longer.
No,
I'm 11
I think
now,
the
almost
main
12.
the main difference is that I actually started work in my home country as a radiographer, where I graduated, and I worked quite I would say several years. Yeah, 5 to 6 years. So I was extremely lucky because there were no jobs at all. Not at all. I think there was to kind of access the public sector, so kind of have your stable job, in the hospital. They were doing this kind of I would say kind of you had to do kind of a test with a lot of candidates. And I think for one position, there were 3,000 candidates. It was that kind of moment.
I can relate to that.
Yeah, it was that kind of moment. I was just very lucky. And to be honest, I'm not ashamed. But to say this, I was just living very close to the clinic that I had literally 5 minutes. So I went there. I said to let's call it the image manager. I told him, listen, I just want to come here, learn the job. And I know it's bad to say, but I say I accept even a very low salary. Just teach me, please. Teach me. And I was very lucky because it was a private facility, and they had, I think, probably at the time, 12 MRI scanners.
It was straight to MRI. You
It
didn't
was
do
straight.
anything else.
It was incredible. Yeah, it was straight to the MRI because this facility had 12 MRI scanners. I think was the second in Europe for the number of MRI scanners in a small village in Italy. Imagine, crazy. And they had a CT scan as well. They had a X-ray machine. They had plenty of in terms of equipment. They have a lot of scanners. They had low field, and this is where I started. Yeah. Different brands from Isote. They had GE. They had
Isote, which is one of the partners of our
there
company.
you go. There you go. Italian fellows.
Italy,
Italian fellows.
Absolutely.
And GE. They had a GE scanner, Philips. So yeah, it was a very nice journey because for 6 months straight, I started from the low field, as a third person. They put me there, just watch. And then sometimes plan this, plan that, position the patient that way, position it that way.
I think that's a dream for someone that is starting.
It was fantastic. To be honest, I was extremely lucky. I mean, without that job, probably I wouldn't be here, to be honest. Then there was a specific process in place because then, I mean, they moved me from the low field to the 1.5 and they explained me what could be the challenges, MR safety again.
Did you have anyone specifically trained for safety to give you that training?
So specific
or it's
one?
just what happens? I'm asking this question for one reason, and don't lose your train of thought. Is nowadays most of the people that are trained on safety, they are trained by their senior radiographer, which normally doesn't also have training. So they normally don't have that training, but they have the experience. So they will train you. Don't bring the oxygen tank to the scanner. It's always on. right? But they don't have actually any degree, they don't have a certification, nothing like that. So that's why I'm asking you if they had that training or if it was just by experience.
Well, my former colleagues now, they are gonna kill me if they're watching it. Please don't watching it. But I don't think there was this specific person, to be honest. I mean, they were all very skilled, also in MR safety. But yeah, I think at the time, probably those kind of qualification, like American new qualification, they are not new, but probably they are a little bit more famous in American, like the MRSO, correct?
Yeah. MRSO and MRSC.
MR safety officer. Yeah, those kind of qualification where I think...
Just a curiosity on that, I know you're doing your master's, I believe.
Yeah.
And I think one of your teachers, she's a big advocate for the MRSO position in Europe.
Yeah,
and
I know.
She's also bringing that to Europe, which is awesome.
Absolutely.
Because we really need that position here.
And hopefully we'll have her here one day discussing about this.
I think it would be a very interesting conversation because it's important that we have that role. And the reason why I ask you that, it's because most of the times it's like that. We just pass information to each other. And if you tell a story for 10 times, the first time you tell it's going to be different than the last time, and you're going to lose information on the way. So I think it's very important that we have those regulations in place and we have actually that training. So I think it's very, very important what she's doing and the work she's doing at the moment.
Also because most of the time, I mean, let's say it with a certain degree of honesty, we try to kind of like copy what they are doing in the US and
all the time,
and get it here. But sometimes we are a little bit more slowly in the process of integration.
I feel like the British, and I hope nobody gets me wrong here, we are a little bit more conservative on this side of the pond, to be honest. I think over there they are more prone to risk. And they just want to innovate as quick as possible.
Actually, I don't know if you remember, we did that post and everything MRI during the MR Safety Week about the 6 weeks waiting for the implant before scanning an implant, if waiting 6 weeks or not. And I think most hospitals here in the UK, they have this kind of like, let's call it policy,
rule, right?
Unspoken rule, in which you wait 6 weeks if you know that this like specific implant has been placed, just for a matter of safety.
Just in case.
I think someone, I don't know if Frank Sherlock or someone else,
just
it came there saying, "No, what are you talking about? This thing of the 6 weeks of safety of waiting is like it's completely pointless." I mean, there is but
there you go. That's a good example of exactly what I was saying, and another point to that is the remote scanning situation. So I'm a big advocate for remote
I have to tell
scanning.
you, I'm extremely interested about this topic.
And this just to go back to that, because the remote scanning, which you're passionate about and I'm passionate about, it's a big topic within the MRI community, because you see all Europe is doing it. For example, in Germany, I have a colleague called Anton. He's doing it for years in Germany, for years now. We just wrote a paper on it, remote scanning. And when I tried to bring that to UK, everyone goes, no. What about safety? And I think that's the issue, because we are so insecure in terms of MRI safety that we can't do anything else. Because I'm afraid of an implant that was put in 6 weeks ago. So how am I doing even remote scanning if I can't even scan a hip replacement without checking it?
This is a good point. I think, to be honest, people will have mixed opinion about this.
Absolutely, and that's a good thing.
This is a good thing to spark off the discussion a little bit. Yeah, someone definitely will be a little bit more conservative, but I have the feeling that this thing of the remote scanning will take over at some point. And the idea of getting like a radiographer, a technologist working perhaps from home one day, I think some places they do it. Most likely they work in the hospital, right?
They have offices within the hospital.
But if I heard correctly, at some point during the pandemic, some places managed to get radiographer working from
just
home.
Just between us. I've scanned the patient already in Brazil. I was at home.
No way. How did you manage to do that?
In Brazil. I won't be able to tell you the details because, of course, this is something that we're still working on. But I'm working with people in different countries, in different companies in terms of remote scanning, and we managed to scan someone remotely. So
you managed to scan someone that was physically in Brazil? From your
my laptop.
From your laptop in your living room, perhaps.
I was just sitting there, my cat walking around, and I was.
So
just
there
kind of
was
saying-
like, just to explain a little bit more, because I want to understand a little bit more as well. So there was like a colleague over there who positioned
Yes.
the patient.
Yes.
Contrast, was that contrast
No,
involved?
it was a very basic
Okay.
thing. We do the
But
shoulder or something.
If contrast was involved, he would have put like a cannula or something
Yeah,
like that?
absolutely. So again, it's one of the topics that we're going to have on our massive event, and one of the people talking there is going to do a presentation just about this. And I think it's a very emergent topic, very important one. And for us, the article that we wrote, Anton wrote most of it, but I helped him rewriting a few things. I think the most important thing is liability, because let's say you are at home scanning someone, something happens at the hospital, who's liable for that patient's health and well-being? Is it you? Is it the company? So this kind of situation needs to be very well spoken between the third party or the hospital. That's why most of them actually scan within the hospital with their own radiographers in an office. You can eventually do cross-country and go home and do it from home or doing in an app, whatever, but it needs to be written down where the liability is going to fall. And another thing is, if you have someone on site, he needs to be MRI safety trained to level 2, and they need to be ILS trained, and they need to be able to cannulate and recognize an anaphylactic reaction, for example. So that training doesn't exist, and that's why people are so afraid of having this kind of technology implemented. So my thing is, if you train the people as they should be training in the first place,
Yes.
then you can move on
Yeah,
to the remote
to
scanning
this thing.
part of it. But it's going to take a while.
Wow.
I recognize that.
Yeah, I mean,
but there's some
there are
sites
so
doing
many
it
things
a lot.
happening.
Yeah.
No, I mean, just laughing about the idea that we're here discussing about remote scanning. To go back to what I was saying before, I mean, 3 years ago, I was moving here and I was probably barely aware about the English terminology in the medical system. So that was my major concern about like learning the medical English.
Absolutely.
And now, I mean, 3 years after, we're here talking about remote scanning in MRI.
You
and I
might
was
be
like,
able to go back home and
Yeah.
scan from home. That would be the dream, no?
can you imagine? There will be like people that are located somewhere else,
One
God
of the
knows
things
where.
that people push me back on this is the fact that as a radiographer, if you scan from home, you lose contact with the patients.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
we are,
I think, to be honest, it is fair to have
but
this concern.
I don't agree with the concern for one reason. Not everyone likes patient contact, right?
Yeah.
Some of us just like the physics side of it. Some of us just like to sit down
Yeah, I
and
met
scan
few,
and
I
look
met
at the
few
images,
radiographers like
right?
this. Absolutely.
Some of us love claustrophobic patients because they can interact with them. They can have a conversation. They can care for someone. So there's a myriad of patients and there's a myriad of radiographers with different likes, right? I like to be next to my patient and care for them, but I love being on the scanner and just play around with the parameters and get better images. But some people hate that. So I think there's a window of opportunity for people that hate the patient contact to work from home. Let's say a radiographer or a technologist that has an injury that doesn't allow them to actually go anymore into the MRI and position a patient.
Yeah.
They can work from home. So we open up some more options.
Yes.
Let's say a radiographer or technologist is pregnant. They can't go in because EMFs, or they can't go in because of positioning coils, or for any other reasons. They can also work from home for a longer period of
Okay,
time.
I will stop you 1 second. I will pretend to be someone from the audience, and
The
one
devil's advocate,
natural
yeah?
question that will come to me is that, don't you think this might create like a certain level of inequalities, like some differences within the job? I love stay with the patient, okay? So I want to stay like in the hospital, but at the same time, I would like to work from home from time to time.
And that's the beauty of it. If the audience can read the article that I wrote about remote scanning with Anton and Marcel, I can't forget Marcel wrote it as well. One of the main things that we write there is remote scanning will allow you to work in a hybrid environment, which means you can be 1 week working from home or a month working from home, and next month you rotate and you are in the hospital. Doing the other role.
Yeah.
That's also a possibility. When we work remotely, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be at home forever. You can go to the hospital and work 2 weeks there, 2 weeks
To
at
be
home,
fair,
2 weeks there,
yeah,
2 weeks at
absolutely.
home. You can rotate. You can decide with your employer and
I
your
think
colleagues.
that this would be game changing, because what I noticed is that there is a trend after the pandemic. People want to regain their work-life balance. So those kind of like people that want to like work crazy hours, yeah, they're still there. But I would say there is now like kind of like a pattern for which like people, they want to kind of like chill out a little bit,
Absolutely.
like kind of
And
like
commute
enjoy
in
also.
London is crazy,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, in an environment like this one, to be honest, myself sometimes I say I
Absolutely,
just want to stay with my family, and the idea and the possibility of working from home, well, that would be, to be honest, appealing to me. As far, I mean, I love staying with the patient, but at the same time, why not? If there is that possibility to mix the two things, I mean,
Yeah,
why not?
I think that's one of the
So this will
major
be one of the
attractive points.
topics which we are going to discuss during the
Absolutely,
event.
yeah.
And then we say MR safety and other things happening with everything MRI. I mean,
Yes.
I have a few things that I can say, but I just want to, you can lead definitely
We
better
have
than me.
loads of projects as
Yeah.
you know, but of course we binded by some contracts, and there are some situations that I can't discuss yet.
Yeah.
Of course, we're doing an app, which we both agree is going to be a massive thing for
Yeah.
for us radiographers and technologists around the world. I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And I think myself, for example, when I'm scanning on MR, I'm going to be honest, I'm not always looking at the scanner. We all do this. We all have a phone or a book or whatever, and we do other things. All right, we shouldn't be saying
Yeah,
that, but
yeah, I mean, can
But
we
it's
can we,
true.
can we cut it this far?
it is true. To be transparent, to
Yeah,
be
that's
honest,
fine. Yeah.
and there's things that I believe that app is going to help us a lot. So I think that's one of the projects. Another project that we have in hands has to do with virtual reality, which I think is going to be massive as well.
I think also the fact that we are collaborating with universities here and
Yes.
there. I mean, I can tell it myself that I'm actually doing this master, and here in London, I would say that the fact that we are kind of like raising the stakes, so kind of like getting with higher education, that will allow us to perhaps like giving some extra level certification at some point. So
Absolutely.
we're definitely working on this. I think education is one of the, correct me if I'm wrong, but one of the crucial thing within everything MRI.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I would say probably even before then, app here and there, they are all connected anyway, and all goes toward education, like a better education.
Education and innovation, and I'm sure everyone is aware, mainly the university and teachers, that with the new HCPC standards, they have to step up their game. And one of the things is the way they're teaching their students. And I believe VR is a very immersive kind of learning tool where you can train their students in risk-free environments. And I truly believe as well, and I've learned this with our partners in Colombia that developed this, one of the VR tools that we have.
So how they do this? Can you explain it a little bit
Yeah, yeah.
further? Because I
So
think that
just-
is
just
this is
to
quite
finish
this is quite
the-
interesting.
Absolutely. Just to finish the thought, they told me this once, and I 100% agree with them. Emotion drives knowledge and drives learning. Because if you're not connected with what you're learning emotionally, you're not going to learn it. So let's say I pass you this notebook with some information, you read it, but you don't connect with it emotionally, you're not going to memorize it. So emotions are very important for memory and for learning. And I think that's where VR comes into play. And this partnership that we have with Do Reality, they are a company based in Colombia, it's very important because of that. Because we're providing universities all over the world with this tool to train their students in a risk-free environment that is emotionally engaging, where they can just learn about MRI safety, where they can just learn about scanning MRI, and do all of those activities without the risks of actually going to a hospital and try it.
That would be amazing, because if I can share my feedback about this, during my bachelor, my 3 years at university, probably I wasn't even be able to kind of just step inside the MRI, in the MRI environment. And then suddenly when I started working, as I told you before, and then I had MRI scanners everywhere. So I was like, I would have liked to be a little bit more
massive
trained.
change, right? It's a
Yeah, I
massive
had to do
change.
it myself. I had to do it at home, obviously.
And I think that's the problem. And
Yeah.
that's, if people go to our website, on the first page on our website, the main page, you will see a pyramid. And it starts with students at the bottom. And there's a reason for it. Because in my point of view, when I created the company, was we need to start from the bottom up. Because what we're doing nowadays, and I think is an old-fashioned way of doing it, is we're providing training to radiographers that are already working for I don't know how many years, and we're doing a course here and a course there, and they have that training, and during the day, oh, this is awesome, I didn't know about this. Then they go back, and for the first week, they're talking about that and implementing it. 2 weeks after, it's gone, because there was no emotion involved, and it was just one course within 3-4 years that they are working. So my idea and the way we're doing it is we're tackling the students first. So it has to come from the STEM. So we're working with students straight away, telling them the importance of MRI safety from the beginning. So when they come into the workforce, they already have that background. You know, they go to those courses, they already know.
This is crucial because I think also the MR safety accidents, they might occur because people are not well trained when they graduated at some point. So they are trainees, they go there, sometimes they just bring something inside. So yeah,
there's another topic on the event, because one of our presenters is going to speak about that exactly. That we have the regulations on it, we have the courses, we have the accreditations. What's going wrong? Right? Why are we diverging from this path that we should be taking?
Absolutely.
Right?
No.
And I think we need to tackle it from bottom up.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with Tobias a few months ago when he was presenting in Portugal. I actually was there, and we met, and I told him this idea exactly, that my idea is we go through the students, then we tackle the radiographers, then we go management, and then we go hospitals 100%. And corporations. It's a pyramid way up.
There will be actually another thing that probably will be better to discuss in the near future, and I think is AI.
Absolutely.
Which is a thing that is...
I know you're very passionate about it.
I know, yeah. I mean, we discuss about remote scanning, MR safety. What about AI? I mean, we did recently a very nice post, I believe, regarding showing this image. It was like, I think, a coronal of the prostate and showing the difference.
We got a lot of engagement as well.
There was a lot of it. I think there is a huge interesting about this thing, and it's taking over. It's definitely taking over, and so I'm gonna discuss this paper, like this research, like in some conferences in the next few months. But
just tell us when.
No, yeah. I might forget now. I'm kind of like embarrassed, but no. Just the outcome of the research, I can say this now, show basically that some specific sequences can be accelerated up to 80%, maintaining the same image quality. So we are talking about extending like a service like the prostate MRI, which is crucial, and they are talking about having prostate MRI for screening in men.
Yeah. There's a lot of news coming out now in NHS about that.
It will be possible because now we're actually able to do like a scan in 10 minutes, 12 minutes.
May I ask you something about that? Because one of the pushbacks that I hear about AI is, okay, you can do, instead of doing any in 25 minutes, you're doing any in 4 minutes, right? With deep resolve, let's say, from zero.
Yeah, probably not 4 minutes, but let's pretty,
let's say 5
quick.
minutes, 6, whatever. We're reducing it for more than half, okay? The point is, and this is a question to you, the point is to scan more patients within the same time frame, you know what I'm getting at, or is it to give more attention to the patient that I already have in front of me?
Oh my God, this is not a question, this is the question.
Absolutely, so you are passionate for it, so you tell me.
I think it can work in both ways, to be honest. If there is like a healthcare system that has like a huge backlog, waiting times that can be like months, some countries even years. So I think in that sense, you might use the artificial intelligence probably to kind of like increase the number of scans and perhaps like allow the service to be a little bit more kind of like usable also from a different...
And can we maintain the patient care with our patients doing that?
This is a very good question.
Because that's a concern for me, because I want AI on my scanners, but I want to make sure that my patients get the same attention as before.
For how I see it, I would just use it to, improve the quality of the service. So better image quality, and perhaps also like having some extra time with the patient, because you might probably finish the scan earlier, so you can have a chat with the patient, not like discussing about your entire life, but like kind of like a certain level of interaction, rather than just say, okay, the scan is finished, I'll see you, hasta la vista. You just want to interact more with them. So in this sense, this will be a crucial tool. What I'm concerned is that I can understand why, as I told you. I mean, some countries, they have like huge waiting times. So,
Well, we
but-
are in one of those countries.
yeah,
right?
we
So-
are one. So I have the feeling that probably,
gonna use
AI will be used actually
think
to
AI
increase the number of
in
scans.
general,
Yeah.
AI in general, not just medical, but AI topic. I think there's a fear that if it goes into the wrong hands, it's gonna be a bad thing. But if it goes to the right hands, it's gonna be the best thing we've
Yeah,
ever
absolutely.
had as a human species.
I think, as Christina, the course director, say, we don't have to be scared about AI. We just need to kind of like use the AI as an assistant, as a support tool to kind of like. And we were discussing about the role of AI in MRI, but if you think about it, in X-ray or in CT is having like a massive impact, like improving the detection,
Reporting as well, right?
reporting as well. I think there is a tool that is able actually to prioritize the reporting of a scan.
Yes, I see that in a conference.
Yeah, making like a kind of
VAR
like
conference.
it basically through the AI is able to spot already like if there is like a specific pathology. And basically, it put like in the workplace, it put like in.
So I have another question for you then, because I went to this conference, BIR conference about AI, and what I saw there was every single company was coming with a new algorithm, and they have algorithms. All of them have an algorithm for something. Let's make this scenario. I am a manager of this imaging service, XY, whatever, and you come to me and I say, I have this algorithm that will improve 80% your output on reporting of x-rays, chest x-rays. And then you have another company and says, I will do 81% output on that. And then you have another one and says, I have 79. And every single one of them have an amazing algorithm to offer. How am I going to choose one? And if that comes to MR as well, I believe there's the problem of Netflix, where you have so many things to watch that you end up choosing for half an hour to 45 minutes and say, it's late, I'm going to bed. So how are we going to be able to choose what is best for us? And in a corporation like NHS, how are we going to do that? Because every single trust will work with a different algorithm. How are we going to speak to each other? That's something that I still don't grasp.
I know, it's very difficult. I think we need to acknowledge the fact that technology is advancing like in a very fast way. So
isn't it advancing too fast?
Probably, because
Probably.
I mean, if you have a look at the number of different algorithms, now I don't want to deepen too much into the physics, but we have like convolutional, variational networks. They're all changing, and it's like technology, like
we can keep up.
I would like to say every year, but now I can say probably every month.
Every month,
they're kind of like
absolutely,
adding something on top. So I think you will always have plenty of options. And someone might say, I think you really need to do an upgrade now. I was like, but I bought this tool literally last year.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So,
and that's another problem, because, for example, let's say one company gives you one algorithm to do something, and then comes another company and says, I can do that plus this. But you have a contract now, and then that puts you in a very weird position as a manager that decided to go with that company. So I think AI is awesome. I agree. And I think it plays a huge role in this reducing waiting lists. And I think it's going to be extremely helpful for NHS as well. But in terms of choosing which algorithm I'm going for, which company I'm going for, it's going to be a very tricky thing to do. And I believe Elon Musk said something about that we're going too fast. And he's one big advocate for AI.
I know.
But probably we need to slow down a little bit and try to see, like zoom out and try to see, okay, this is awesome, but how are we going to actually apply this? For example, on MR, I think it's going gradually. It's going like, let's do image acceleration. Let's scan quicker, which is awesome. Let's get some more patients in and get them good patient care. I don't see that massive growth on MR as I see on chest X-ray reporting, for example. So I don't know if you feel the same way.
No, I feel the same, absolutely. But again, I just want to be cautious to say anything at this stage, because things can change very quickly. So
absolutely, yeah.
Probably tomorrow something there might be a massive news that they may say that the major vendors will integrate Siemens. Not Siemens, apologies. They will integrate AI in the scanners for free. Yeah. It's already happening. I think some vendors, they're kind of integrating this software, and they are not coming anymore as an extra purchase that you need to do, but they will come just on when you basically buy the MRI scanner. So I think
most of the companies already have that integrated in.
Yeah.
which is awesome because you don't need to worry about it. You choose your manufacturer and you get your scanner, mainly because you're probably used to it or you already have one. So it makes it easy to have maintenance kind of contracts as well.
Yeah.
And you have to go with whatever they have
Yeah.
in place. From my side, I don't think there's any project that we have on Everything MRI regarding AI besides your amazing topics on YouTube and probably some conferences that you're going to be doing that I would love you to be able to talk about. So we're going to put something out
Well,
about
we'll work
that.
for something for next year, maybe.
Absolutely, that would be amazing if you could do something like that.
Yeah, and I just want to say that about the next events that are going to happen, just regarding the YouTube channel, we will continue discussing about MRI parameters. And this is just the very last thing that I want to say regarding the channel. So guys, I know that you like it a lot, MRI parameters. So stay there because we will discuss about the bandwidth, turbo factor, SNR. Oh my God, yeah. Anyway,
It's a lot to cover. That's
Yeah,
the main problem. Yeah.
there is quite a lot to cover, but yeah, I think it would be nice to kind of like refresh all this knowledge because I mean,
It's like going back
at the end of the
basics.
day, at the end of the day, we're not just pushing buttons, as they used to say, but we are actually trying to create like a decent image that can improve the diagnosis. Because sometimes having like a grainy image is because you messed up completely your sequence, or having a very nice image, well, that might probably play a huge role in terms of the final diagnosis.
Absolutely, and then not only that, but reputation of the place where you're working.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's also a big point. I would like to speak about a little bit of our event, just giving a date. So it's 21st of November.
Yep.
It's going to be 5 p.m.
Yep.
London time.
Yep.
We tried to find a time where we can fit all people from USA, from Australia, India, North America, whatever. So we want to have a time that works more or less, which it's almost impossible to get all of the time zones. But so it's going to be 5 p.m. 21st of November, which is a Tuesday. It's going to be live online and people can just ask questions. They can do it beforehand. So we're going to introduce gradually from not next week, the week after when this is being recorded. So we're going to start telling who the presenters are, their topics, so people can straight away start asking questions. And then during the actual event, they will be able to just pop in on the box. I want to ask this to this person.
I already have some questions to ask.
Yeah.
So I'll start to take some notes just now.
So the format is we have 6 presenters. Each one of them will do a 15-minute presentation. So it's very quick kind of presentation, straight to the point.
And the audience can ask questions after.
Yes,
How does it work?
yes. So they can put it on the chat, and then we will be moderating the whole meeting, so we can pick the questions and just ask them. But it's not going to work as a Q&A kind of thing. So each one of the presenters will have 15 minutes. I will introduce every single one of them, and then we'll have, which I believe, which is the best part of this, a roundtable discussion. So we have all the presenters within the roundtable discussion, and we will
big
talk to
names, guys. Big names.
Absolutely, yeah. I think we have the biggest names on the space, and I think it's going to be amazing.
Did we say that is for free? Yeah.
Absolutely. Good point. I forgot that.
Anyway, we cover remote scanning, conference, AI. I would say that it's quite enough to digest for today.
Absolutely.
So, guys, if you like it, this was the very first episode of our podcast. And there will be a few more probably in the future. Yeah, I would say so. And probably we will continue discussing about these topics. Today, we just wanted to introduce a little bit more what we are doing with Everything MRI.
We are as well.
Yeah. Oh, we are as well.
Because we've been posting for 5 months and nobody knows who
know
we are.
each other a little bit better. I mean, I've just seen you a couple of times and now I know each other a little bit better. But yeah, just discussing briefly about what we love, which is actually MRI. And this is what we continue to discuss, and especially about education. This is what we want to focus, and this will be the core of our project.
Just to say that to follow us everywhere.
Yeah, please.
LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram.
TikTok,
We're literally everywhere.
I mean, I also asked my grandma to follow us. I mean, she doesn't have any social media platform, but anyway, thank you so much for just
for listening.
I mean, of course.
Yeah.
And we will see you in the next appointment.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.